Hello, algoriters. It's Wednesday and we're back. I'm Al Reynolds, and this is the Court of Public Opinion. I'll be serving as your judge, and you, the viewers, will be the jury. As you know, in the Court of Public Opinion, this is a place where you, the people, will have a voice. Be sure to hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, be sure to hit that share button. And don't forget to turn on those notifications because we got a hot week for you with the short week that we have. And also drop down in those comments because we love it when we are engaged with each and every one of you. Got a surprise for you. Let's introduce tonight's Legal Beagles. Tonight we have 3 Legal Beagles. First up, you know that fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Shatan Turner, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion.
Thanks, Your Honor. Hey, algoriters.
Don't forget, Shatan Turner is represented by the fire emoji because she brings the fire when it comes to talking about these cases. Next up, we have the one, the only, you know who she is, the Counselor of the Year, Simone Redwine. Simone Redwine, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion.
Thank you for letting me back in. I was worried for a while. I thought I might have got fired.
Just one more time. Just one more time. Simone Redwine, you guys know her emoji is the red wines, and she's been busy with her own court show. With her own legal show, and we're going to get an update from her today. And last but not least, we have a new Legal Beagle. Everyone, please put we got to figure out what that emoji is. Please welcome entertainment and business attorney, Jay Carter. Jay Carter, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, aka the Entertainment Esquire is what she goes by. So, Jay Carter, Counselor, what emoji would you like for the people to use in the chat as they recognize all your great legal advice that you'll be giving tonight?
The emoji with the stars in the eyes. Oh my God.
Okay.
Show me that.
Anything happens on live TV.
That's great live TV, right? All right. So the emoji with the stars in the eyes, everybody, will be Jay Carter's emoji. Until she's back, let's get started. All right. Jennifer Williams, Christian Gold, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. Well, we have an update from our one and only Counselor, Simone Redwine. What is going on with Jennifer Williams and Christian Gold?
So initially, I broke the story that on Basketball Wives, there was a segment where Christian reveals to Jennifer that he owes $250,000 in restitution, which just so happened to be the exact amount they needed for the wedding, and is asking Jennifer effectively to help. Well, I broke the story that he was lying. The restitution was only $12,500. Well, in the segment that I did, you can go to my channel, which is called Girl, Is That Legal? And the one that I did on that, I actually went to his website because part of the question is, well, what do you do? Because the websites were saying he makes multiple millions. Well, the truth is, what we've uncovered is that what he does apparently is an illegal Ponzi scheme. We're going to say alleged, but what I saw and what I have discovered is that I actually have spoken with, and I've done an interview on my channel. You can go and you can see it's an interview with one of his so-called clients. This is someone who invested thousands with him and was told that in return, she would receive 2 to 5% interest per week. Y'all, that is 8 to 20% interest. You can't guarantee something like that. Oh, but he did on his website that is now defunct. And apparently he has defrauded over 250 investors. So with the Ponzi scheme, effectively, he takes money from one person and then pretends that he's invested. No one has seen any returns. And he gives them screenshots of allegedly what those returns were supposed to be. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how he's been able to wine and dine Jennifer Williams.
Wow. Now, if I hear you correctly, Attorney Redwine, this is federal. This is a white collar crime, right?
Oh, yeah, baby. We got a little wire fraud in there because he's got people cash apping him, Zelle, We got some wire fraud in there. Looks like we got a little IRS fraud. One of the solutions that I recommended is to make sure, because he's telling people ain't no money no more, but no one had any accounts, so forth. When someone is claiming to invest money for you, they are required to provide you with an IRS document that you can then use to file your taxes. His failure to do so in and of itself is its own IRS crime.
Now, let me ask you this, because you're saying that the website is down. With the website being down, does that mean that the company is no longer existing? Does that mean his network is no longer multi-millions? I'm kind of confused. How does this affect his net worth and, his ability to provide for his, soon to be new wife?
Right. So the answer is, he was, like I said, he was providing with her with the investment money these people were giving. As an example, each person, in order to be part of his entity, right, to be an investor, you had to invest a minimum of $1,000. I have seen for myself that the chats, when I looked at it, the chat of people that he was updating on the results of his trading had at least 228 people in that. It upwards of two. And if you're each investing at least 1,000, that's that many. Now, with the website being down, what it appears is that he reviewed my expose on what he was doing, and he understands and probably has realized that what he was saying was illegal. So he's probably taken that down to protect himself so that others can't screenshot it and use it to file federal complaints that you can do online with federal financial crimes. You go online and do that. So the long story of the short is he's taken down his website. It's unclear if the entity is still operating because it doesn't appear that he's taking new clients, but he is still actively updating the current ones, including this week. He told everyone, the stock market has taken a big hit. So all of your accounts are down and they're only worth like a small percentage of what they originally were. But he's provided no one. Yeah, that's what he said. Oh, the stock market's down. And so you've only got it's these accounts are down like 74% of what they used to have. But he's literally given, no one has a bank account number. Like if you got my stuff in account, I have E-Trade. I have an E-Trade account number. These people do not have individual account numbers. All they receive from him are screenshots of how everything is doing. And no one has an individualized anything.
Account,
He just
like
sends
an
everyone
account
the same
statement.
Straight Ponzi scheme.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If he has 250 people times 1,000, that's $250,000 only. So where is this?
People invest in multiple. The woman that I spoke with, I'll say she invested less than 20,000, but she invested multiple thousands.
Oh, I got you totally.
It's a minimum of 1,000. But he generally, and in her situation, what he did was he said, oh, the stock market has taken a hit, but don't worry, you can reinvest. So he's actually trying to get people to invest more money by using the claim that the stock market, it always takes hits, but it still means it didn't take no 74%. It didn't take, these different numbers that he's talking about. And every individual person should have an account number. But the thing is this too, he's a felon. He is not licensed. He is not insured. And he cannot legally sell securities as he's doing to anybody in the United States of America.
Wow. So, Attorney Turner, can you please tell me, for our good friend Jennifer, how does she protect herself? Is she liable? Is there any liability surrounding her if she get married to this man? Will this affect her in any way?
Well, so the way that you get exposed to litigation is based on your connection to the entity and or the individual that's being sued. Right now, they are not married. I would recommend that Jennifer never marry this man. Somebody who has engaged in this level of fraud is just not going to be trustworthy as a husband, most likely. But as it relates to her personal exposure, she wouldn't want to commingle assets with somebody who's facing this sort of potential litigation. So at a minimum, if she decides that she's in love and love is all she needs, I mean, he is fine and he might have some other talents. She should take measures to protect your assets, right? So that it's clear that they don't have any accounts that are together, that she put some of her assets in trust that are exclusive for a certain purpose so that she is not exposed. And based on what Attorney Redwine described, I mean, I heard RICO violations. He's going to be brought up most likely before the SEC for engaging in this, since he wasn't licensed to trade securities. I mean, he has a lot of trouble. I would recommend that he take the $12,000 that, or the 250 that's supposed to go for the marriage, and actually use that to hire a really good lawyer. And then if it all, if it's all just smokes and mirrors, and they can get married later. Love waits.
Right. Absolutely.
But also,
Especially
I
when
want to be
you're
clear. What you asked about Jennifer's potential liability. Every
Mhm.
single thing this man has bought for her is up for grabs, can be seized by the federal government. So if he
Does that
bought her
mean
a
the
car,
ring too? The ring too?
the ring especially, we
Fruit
get that
of the
ring.
poisonous
By
tree.
we, I mean by ring, I mean on behalf of the victims. That ring's finna be ours. Period. Now, I don't believe that ring is really worth what is claimed to be worth. Maybe the diamond is. I don't know. But that ring is about to be the victims. Oh, and if you were a victim of him, feel free to contact me. Go to my website, SimoneRedwine.com. I can walk you through the steps to file a complaint with the feds. You want to file it with the feds in Atlanta, Georgia, under financial crimes, or online internet crimes. You want to go ahead and do that. The more people that file, the more likely you are to get your money.
Well,
Now
I hope
that's
this
restitution.
Simone,
Right.
I'm back. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Hi,
Yeah.
I'm back. So Simone is absolutely right. The assets at this point, if she marries him without any sort of prenup, if she doesn't keep things separately, when they have a judgment to pay back victims, they go after anything that is worth anything. So just because it's an engagement ring, it's still considered jewelry. They go after anything that has value. So Simone is absolutely right. She's still going to go down the aisle with him. She needs to put some things in place.
Got
Well,
it.
and I think also to add to what Attorney Jay was saying, that I was saying earlier, is that the principle that Attorney Redwine is describing is the fruit of the poisonous tree. And so they're going to look to see the source of funds that he used to purchase those things. And in the event that it's found that, they were the product of the crime, then the money that was used to purchase them is poisonous. And so the tree itself is the crime, and then the branches are all the things that he bought.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Attorney Shaitan, it's called the what of the what?
The fruit of the poisonous tree.
The fruit of the poisonous tree. All right, algorithm, you heard it. The fruit of the poisonous tree. Attorney Turner, we can't hear you. So I think let's move your mic closer to you, because you're dropping some deep wisdom here, and we definitely want to know. So the fruit of the poisonous tree. So even though the tree is what's poisonous, it's the branches, and what the branches are doing can also be held liable and responsible in this particular case.
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing? All right, everybody. There you go. That's our update for Jennifer Williams and Christian Gold. Let's hope it's all not true. Let's hope this is all alleged. Jennifer Williams and Christian Gold are expected to get married this fall, and this is now coming out. I wish the best for the couple. Next up, Pepper. Well, actually, Southwest Airlines, welcome back in the court of public opinion. Pepper is not having it. She is demanding an investigation. She's saying that it was racial profiling, and her lawyer is seeking fair and transparent resolution. Our new attorney, Jay Carter, please break down this case and let us know exactly what she's looking for. And is it really racial profiling?
She can say it's racial profiling, but I'll be honest with you, that is one of the hardest things to prove. Racial profiling is very, very hard to prove. So she can obviously add that as an allegation. I actually think her stronger allegation is a violation of the American Disability Act. If you haven't been following this story, she actually had a cast on her leg. So at the time, I don't know if you've ever flown, if you've had an injury, you get to get on the airplane before everybody else, you get all these proper accommodations. I think because she was injured, she had actually bought 2 seats to kind of accommodate her injury. Yes. They made her give up one of her seats. They just were not accommodating. So if she's smart, which she is a smart cookie, I think her attorney will throw in racial discrimination, but I think there's a stronger case of a violation of the American Discrimination Act as it relates to her treatment on the flight.
Simone Redwine, what are your thoughts on this? Because I've noticed in this whole show, you really know how to tack on good stuff. What do you think about this fine from Attorney Jay Carter?
So I really like this line of thought. So with the compensatory damages under the Americans with Disabilities Act, there's some different things that follow. But basically, if it's a company with more than 500 employees, you could end up with $300,000 in damages, just depending on the facts. And also, particularly here, what's interesting to me is there are specific rules, regulations, and guidelines that airlines have to follow when it comes to requiring people to give up a seat. And part of those rules are that it goes by when someone checked into the flight. And I absolutely do not believe that Peppa was the last person to check into this flight. Therefore, whoever was the last person to check in is the person who should have been asked to give up a seat. You do not get to decide that this one person who has 2 seats is more should be the one to give up the seat when the law says you have to go by the order of check-in.
Okay, order of check-in. She got on the plane, but she purchased 2 seats. She purchased 2 seats. This is what I don't understand. I don't understand if she purchased her 2 seats, how can you take one of her seats if she purchased 2 seats?
And not only that, she arrived earlier, right? Because this guy gets on later and is looking for a seat. So the answer is what the airlines do is they say, well, we'll just give you back the money for the second seat. Does not fix the problem.
Right. Because
this is not an. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, because that's the reason why she purchased 2 seats. She purchased 2 seats because she's injured. She has a disability and she needed the seat to stretch her leg. Attorney Turner, tell me though.
Yeah, I was going to say at a minimum, they could have at least tried to accommodate her by saying, okay, well, we'll switch you to an exit row. We'll give you exit row, because that's more space. They didn't do any of the sort. And they tried to kick her off the plane and humiliate and embarrass her.
Well, they actually did kick her off the plane. They did humiliate. They did embarrass her. Attorney Turner, please share with me, what does the lawyer mean when the lawyer says we're going to seek from Southwest Airlines fair and transparent resolution?
What they're saying is we are not going into the shadows. So often with settlements, they have confidentiality clauses that prohibits either party from discussing them. And what this suggests to me is that Peppa feels so aggrieved. And because she was publicly embarrassed and humiliated, she doesn't want anything in the shadows. She's like, I may settle with you, but I want to be able to talk about it. In some ways, she's a modern day Rosa Parks, right? Because she refused to move and they forced her to move. I think that they're grounding their race discrimination claim in the notion of disparate treatment. She was a Black woman who actually followed the rules, bought 2 seats. And then for some reason that is not clear for the reasons that Attorney Redwine indicated, they decided to value the interests of this single white man versus the interests of this single Black woman. That's the part that I find most interesting because as we know, airlines are in the business of trying to mitigate grievances and to maintain the peace. These were only 2 people. It's not like there was a couple versus a single person. They were 2 people. And so I think what Southwest does have to account for is why his interests were more important. And I do think that the comments by Attorney Jay Carter are interesting because under the ADA, anything that substantially limits a major life activity is considered to be a disability. And so the argument that by failing to allow her to use both seats, that they were denying her an accommodation is something that they should also explore as an alternate claim.
Wow. Great job, ladies. Great job, my legal beagles, unpacking this whole thing. Hopefully Peppa is paying attention. If anybody knows Peppa, DM her and tell her to check out the legal beagles and what they say. Something about this disability thing is really sitting with me. It also makes the most sense if she wants to bring this to the most positive resolution for her. Let's keep it moving. WNBA, even though you are blowing up these days, you have blown into the court of public opinion. Star Derica Hemsby is suing the league as well as her team, the Los Vegas Aces. She's alleging that they are discriminating against her and they're retaliating because she announced her pregnancy after she signed her multi-year extension with the team in June. Now, if that's not enough, she has since been traded. She's been traded from the Las Vegas Aces because they felt deceived after she announced her pregnancy. Attorney Turner, please tell us what's going on here with the WNBA. And is that legal?
You know, Your Honor, this is called the WNBA, right? Women NBA. And you know what? Women get pregnant, right? And so the notion that they were surprised that she became pregnant and they were so outraged and decided to take these actions allegedly just really shocks the conscience. I mean, working moms and moms in sports in particular are having a real surge. I don't know if you followed what was going on with the Olympics, but there were lots of moms who competed. Allison Felix created this nursery for the first time, the Olympic Village. Now is not the time in the zeitgeist that they want to have this case heard because it just reeks of discrimination, right? Her claims of breach of contract, that they failed to give her the money she was promised, failed to pay for her child's tuition as they had promised, all because she announced that she was pregnant. My understanding is she's got text messages and all kinds of things. And like I said, this is the WNBA. This is not a surprise. And after she got traded, she went to play all the games that she was supposed to play and didn't miss any time as a result of her pregnancy. And so really, if she had had the opportunity to pay for Vegas, she would have done that. But somebody in their front office made this misguided decision to take an adverse employment action against her based on pregnancy. And if it's true, it's in violation of the Pregnancy Discrimination Act, which is federal law, and she's in good standing to actually win her claims.
Attorney Jay Carter, if you were her attorney, what would you be saying right now to the WNBA?
Well, the thing is, no one really likes to go to court, right? So my thing is, if you want to reach a settlement, like I said, the discrimination part in there with her being pregnant, that's obvious. But what we just mentioned, this is also just a clear case of breach of contract. There were terms that were agreed upon. And so this is a simple breach of contract as well, even if you didn't put the discrimination in here. There is an agreement in writing, or if there are communications like emails or texts that could be perceived as an agreement of what was to be covered, that there's a contract, and they simply either followed it or they didn't. And she says that not only was her child's tuition not covered, she was kicked out of housing. I mean,
right. Her family was kicked out of housing.
Pregnant woman out of housing. I mean, it's all bad, but
that's even worse.
You're the WNBA, and I mean, this is the women's national, like, not
right.
that it would be better if she was, if it was the regular NBA, but that should already be taken in. It should be, I feel like they should have had a little more consideration. The fact that this wasn't
right. Simone, help me out here, because let me tell you the part that I hate the most about this. She just helped them win. She's a multi-time all-star player who just won a championship for them, who put them on the map, who increased their sales of all merchandise, increased the box sales of that particular franchise. She just did all of this for them. And now for them to just say, oh, you know what? You're pregnant. We don't think you're going to be any good anymore. Get out of here. And by the way, I'm taking the tuition back. I'm taking the housing back, and I'm taking my money back, and I want you gone. What exactly is going on, and how would you handle this?
See, one of the things that some media outlets are covering and others seem to be skipping over, though, is the fact that these were unwritten provisions in her contract. So what I have difficulty about is she's been in this industry for many years, and she knows good and well, if it's not in your contract, they're not going to do it. Because you may have had someone who told you they're going to do something, but they may not have the authority to offer you that. So the tuition issue and the additional accommodation, the housing, those were not part of her contract. So she needs to take that up with her manager, her agent, whoever let her sign that contract. And here's the thing. Your agents get a percentage of your money. So that's all they focus on with the contract. They care about that part. You can't take a percentage of somebody's daughter's tuition. You can't take a percentage of someone's housing
Mhm.
stipend. So I believe that she also needs to look at her representation because they failed her by not ensuring those provisions were there. If they were,
Okay.
she would not be in this situation.
But hold on, hold on, hold on. I don't like how that sounds, actually. And this is a court of public opinion. We move a little differently here. Attorney Turner, but can't she argue these text messages you said you were going to do it? You have history of doing it for the last 2 years that I've been on the team. You have history in payment of the housing accommodations for the last 2 years. Everything was fine until this event happened in which I announced my pregnancy. And now you're taking it all back, even though we have text messages, we have emails, and we have direct deposits making payment to the school as well as to the housing. Does that mean anything?
She can still sue under promissory estoppel. So Simone is right. She can't do probably breach of contract if it wasn't in her contract. But there is a law called promissory estoppel when you don't have like a written agreement, or if you can't really prove that there was an oral agreement, where if you relied on a promise and the proof of the text and the previous deposits would show that she relied on the promise, she could still recover under promissory estoppel.
All right, now
And
what
I
is it
just
called
think
again?
that
What is it called? Hold on one second. Hold on.
Promissory estoppel.
Okay, and tell me what exactly is a promissory estoppel? Because I feel like some people owe me some money from a promissory estoppel.
Again, it's because to Simone's point, if it's not written down, right? So it's almost like your word against theirs. If there's other evidence you can present to show that a promise was made and you relied on it, you can still sue for damages underneath this.
Ooh, the ladies are on fire tonight. We got something with a tree. We got something with a promissory stop something. Ooh, these ladies are teaching you guys how to get your money if you get done wrong. And I love it. That's why we have what's called the court of public opinion right here. We're teaching you. Be sure to hit those. All right, our likes aren't liking. Be sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. Don't forget to also hit that subscribe and share button. Don't forget to drop down in the comments and throw some flames, some red wines, and those the thing with the stars in the eyes. And also don't forget the facts emoji, because tonight, baby, these ladies are teaching you how to protect all your money and all your interests. All right, next up, this saddens me, this next story, and I really hope that Jay Carter, the entertainment attorney, can break this down for us. Jordan Childs, welcome to the court of public opinion. Unfortunately, you're in the court of public opinion because you've been stripped of your bronze gymnastic medal. This controversy, ladies and gentlemen, is the first of its kind in the last 24 years, almost 25 years, and it's all over 4 seconds. Yes, you heard me, all over 4 seconds. Now, let me remind you that the last time a medal has been stripped from someone was because of age falsification or doping, which is not the case in this at all. Attorney Jay Carter, can you please break down why we love Jordan, why our beloved Jordan Childs has returned to the United States without her bronze medal?
So what we're answering here isn't traditional. We have to bring us to where the context of how these rules are being made. Okay. So in the Olympics, it's called the Court of Arbitration for Sports. So it's called CAS for short, CAS. And so essentially, if anyone has an issue with any sort of like scoring thing, you can appeal to them. You can say this was the final score, but we have an issue with X, so we're going to appeal. So essentially, Romania brought it to CAS's attention, and the Court of Arbitration for Sports said, you know what? You're right. They did enter an inquiry about her floor exercise after our 1 minute deadline. So we're going to tell FIG, which is the International Gymnastics Federation. We're going to tell FIG that they need to abide by our order and put Jordan in the 5th slot and put Romania in the 3rd slot. But what's interesting about this is 2 things. One, since then, Team USA has provided evidence to show that she was within, actually, the inquiry was made within 47 seconds. So it was within the minute. They provided video evidence. And CAS said, sorry, it's under our rules. We can't look at any new evidence. I've never heard of a court in an appeal process that you can't look at any new evidence. But they simply told Team USA, even if you have video evidence, our rules say that we can't look at it. So we're going to still put her in the 5th place. Now, here's the silver lining in this, if there is a silver lining, and where there's still hope. Even though the score puts her now back technically in the 5th spot and Romania in the 3rd slot, they could say, they don't have to necessarily take her medal away. So CAS told Figs, listen, we've made the decision that we're going to put her back in that 5th spot, but it's on you if you want to take her actual medal back. So Figs can say, hey, we don't want the medal back, but they're actually asking for it back. And child, they would have to come to my doorstep.
They would definitely have to come to my house.
Out of my hand. You're not. And here's the thing. I'm so glad they can't take her gold medal away, because that was with her team. So they never can take that away. But the fact that you're going to take her individual bronze medal away with all this Black girl joy, Black excellence, it's just so disappointing. And then the final update I have, Team Romania saying, oh, well, we mentioned it, but we didn't tell them to take her medal. We never meant for that to happen. What did you think was going to happen when you filed the appeal? It's like they threw their rock and they hit their hand.
Oh, well, I know all about people throwing rocks and hiding hands. Simone and Shatan, what do you guys think about this? And do you think this will hurt her? Would it hurt her career? Would it hurt her endorsements abilities? What are your thoughts on them really coming after her medal?
No, girl, don't you give them nothing. Don't give them ish. Once I found out that 47-second thing, look, you did what you were supposed to do. Your team did what they were supposed to do. Your coach did. Don't give them ish. They over there being petty, you be petty-er. That's all I got to say.
What did you say, Shatan?
I was going to say it might enhance her endorsements, which isn't going to be the same as her credibility in sport, only because people love an underdog. She's charming, she's talented, and I think that her star is going to continue to rise. As it relates to this dispute, it's been a tug of war from the beginning, because the way that she got the medal is because USA appealed, and so it's really no surprise that Romania appealed as well. The thing is that the ruling that Attorney Carter mentioned could have said on the face of it that they each got a bronze medal, and it's unclear why that's not the conclusion they reached.
Wow. Okay. All right, everybody, let's keep it moving. This is a hot night tonight. Next up, oh boy, Keke Palmer, Darius Jackson, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. Well, Keke Palmer has decided that she wants to drop all restraining orders that she had against her husband. And she also wants to drop any custody issues that she had, that she wanted full custody of the child. Attorney Simone Redwine, please bring me up to speed with what's going on with Keke Palmer and Darius Jackson. And the reason why I'm asking is I'm so confused. 1 minute, are we supposed to hate him? Are we supposed to like him? The next minute, when we're starting to hate him, we don't like him. Simone Redwine, tell me what's going on here.
So this is a great example of why we all need to mind our business, right? Because here, what initially happened, the initial story that ran was that he was abusive to her, and that in turn, she went and received a restraining order. Here's what's important to note. This was not a restraining order that was approved by a judge after a hearing. This is what's called a temporary restraining order. And to be perfectly honest, anybody can get one. The way in which you get one is you go to a judge on your own. It is what's called ex parte. Ex parte means just you and the judge. The other person never gets to have a conversation with the judge. You may have heard of this term from the YSL trial, because there was an ex parte hearing between the prosecutor, the judge, and YSL Woody. That was a big deal. But here, what happened is, so she gets it one-on-one. So she presents to the judge the still shots that we all saw on the internet that appeared to be him abusing her. The truth of the matter, we later learned, was that, yes, there was a confrontation between the two, but apparently that was a photo of him trying to retrieve his cell phone from her. And as a result, so she gets the initial, it's a 2-week restraining order where he has to stay away. But she chooses not to go for the full restraining order. Now, that happens. And when I say full, what I mean is the permanent restraining order. In order to get that, you have to have a hearing with the judge where he, the dad, Darius, would get a chance to tell his side of the story. And Darius' side of the story was always that Kiki was the one who was actually instigating and starting the abuse. Interestingly, Kiki never went to that restraining order. She dropped it. They went to a mediation. They apparently resolved their issues in mediation. He has been consistently seeing his son. And the truth of the matter is, if he were to go back, Darius, were to go back to court, even though they have 50-50 custody, because of the dramatic difference in salaries, Kiki would likely have to pay him around $10,000 to $15,000 per month in child support.
Wow. If he
And
were
that
to
is
get,
why they are back together, most likely.
oh, now it's making sense. I love it. And you
Exactly.
ladies know. So they're back together so she doesn't have to come out of pocket for all that money that he clearly could possibly get. But this is what I want to know, ladies. Like, I mean, she drugged this man and his brother and their entire family for filth. Like, I mean, like, I don't know that any of them will be looked at the same in Hollywood because of how aggressive she was in the attacks of his behavior. Her mother got involved, the father got involved. What advice would you give him moving forward with Kiki and their young baby? Attorney Shatan Turner, any advice here?
They have to focus on the best interest of the child. And I was being a bit facetious saying that she got with him so she didn't have to pay him. I think in truth that this is a lesson in what Attorney Redwine says, that other people should stay out of a couple's business. It is complicated. When you have a child with someone, you're contemplating not parenting under the same roof or in a committed relationship, it just complicates everything. It complicates holidays. It complicates every aspect of your life. And so at some point, they may have both considered the consequences and decided that they prefer to do it together. But one of the funniest things that I saw, not to digress too much in the stuff that I read, was that in his restraining order complaint against her, he was complaining that she called him bitch, punk ass, and loser when she got drunk. And so it made me wonder whether the conflict between them was really a function of the fact that she thinks he's underemployed and not ambitious enough. And they need to resolve that because otherwise they'll find themselves in conflict again.
Now, let me ask you something. Someone mentioned on here that we need to stay out of their business. We weren't in their business. We didn't know anything about it until she brought it to the public. She brought it to the public. So when you bring your private business to the public, we think it's our business too. No, what you say, algorithm?
Yes.
Don't you agree with that?
Yeah,
I agree. Also, Your Honor, one of the other things that this is a lesson for the algoriters too is once you file a document in court, unless it's under seal, it becomes everybody's business. And so people are under this misconception that, people are being nosy. No, you involved a public court into your personal business, and now it becomes fodder for anybody who wants to know about it. The other thing is that if you want to keep a secret, don't sue somebody where the facts are relevant, because they will go to court, they will tell that story, and everybody that you didn't want to know about that story will find out.
Wow.
Mess around and find out. Right?
All right. Speaking of like people that you didn't expect in the court of public opinion, Sky Jackson. Oh my goodness, Sky Jackson. Welcome into the court of public opinion. And you know what? I interviewed Sky Jackson this year at the Golden Globes. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Volume, please. Can we get some volume, please? Okay. I guess no volume. We're getting no volume, bailiff.
I'll try one more again.
No volume on shared screen. Okay, so we have a little bit of the technical difficulty. I had the joy, I had the honor of interviewing her this year on the carpet. And such a sweet young lady. Well, Sky Jackson is in a court of public opinion for domestic battery against her boyfriend. This is interesting to me because when the cops showed up, she told them that, hey, everything's fine. Her and her boyfriend just had an argument and that she was pregnant and everything's fine. But the cops decided that they wanted to look at surveillance video. And when looking at surveillance video, they found that she had shoved her boyfriend multiple times. And it was from this surveillance video that she was then arrested for domestic violence. Attorney Shatan Turner, talk to us about this. Is shoving your boyfriend considered domestic battery?
Well, so yes, yes, yes. And I actually think this is a rather weak case. I mean, one, she's a tiny person, and not that I'm like all power for the tiny people, but power for the tiny people. You know, I don't know that he really had any legitimate basis to be fearful. But in truth, from a legal perspective, if you touch somebody without their permission, and if she was shoving him and that constitutes a battery, it's domestic battery because it was in the context of the relationship. But to me, it seems like the cops were trying really super hard. If she wasn't pushing it and he wasn't pushing it, it's unclear to me why they felt compelled to watch this video and take it the next extra step.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Simone Redwine, because I was thinking the same. Now, if anybody has met Sky Jackson, she's literally, and I'm not making this up, she's literally 85, 90 pounds, maybe 95 pounds at best. You've seen the pictures of her and her boyfriend. He's sky tall all over her, you know, taller than her. Why did the cops take it to this extent where they decided to review surveillance video? And why did the cops take it to this extent where they held her off and charged her, arrested her for domestic battery?
Probably because she's Black. That'd be my first guess. Because it sounds absurd.
And she's
Also, she's Black and a celebrity, but also she's pregnant. She's supposed to be pregnant. So you think they give the benefit of the doubt to a pregnant woman who's like in an argument with her boyfriend? I'm not for certain, but one of the photos that I saw was showing that that the boyfriend was not Black, just FYI. But also, I was surprised. It stated that the security for the venue that they were at, which is the Universal Walk, detained them until the police arrived. Let me tell you something. Don't ever let security detain you. Leave. Security are not the cops. Leave, and leave. Don't stick around so you can get arrested. Because she may have had a good chance of this kind of going away if she wasn't on the premises when the police arrived.
The cops arrived.
Also, out just a quick note. Yes, definitely battery, offensive touching, unwanted touching is battery, no matter what, even if she's 85 pounds. But I also want to add the legal note that when it's a domestic dispute, when they come with the attention. They say they have to arrest someone. So they either arrest the guy or the girl or both, but they typically want to walk away with arresting someone. So I think that is why they took the liberty to go the extra mile to look at surveillance video to just confirm who started the fight. Because again, as soon as they put it under domestic, they do want to arrest someone. And again, he doesn't have a name. It's better to arrest her. She's the Disney star. I mean, clearly she was targeted because of who she
But you know what? Yeah, that was my whole thing, because Disney don't play that. Disney don't play having their brand associated with anything related to bad stuff like domestic battery. So this is my question. I want to make sure that all the algorithms and everybody watching heard you correctly. Security does not have the right to hold you. So if you wanted to walk out, could you legally walk away, or is it touch and go there? I just want to make sure I understand that, because if I knew that I didn't have to stay after being detained by security, then I definitely would have walked out. We can't hear you. You're all,
said it and it
you're
depends
on, you're on mute, Simone.
Okay. Sorry, I was going to say they can detain you, but you can leave. So, it's one of those situations where two things can be true. So, yes, they can detain you and you can leave, and they can't do anything about it.
Wow. All right, everybody. That was a great show tonight. This is part of the. Okay, go ahead, Shaitan.
I was just going to say one thing to add is that some of the private security are deputized police officers. So if they show you a badge, then they are the police. And so just be mindful of that.
Okay, so if they deputize police officers, so if they show you a badge, then they can detain you. All right, sounds good. All right, everybody, only here on the Court of Public Opinion do you learn all your rights and be able to apply them in your own life as you journey through it. All right, this is the time of the show where we where we ask questions or take questions from the audience. All right, first up, Simone B said 1099B. Oh, she was talking about with Jennifer and her boyfriend, 1099B. What does she mean by 1099?
So what I was referring is I was giving a little bit of legal tea that says if someone owes you money and it's over $600, if they owe you money, you can file a form of a 1099. I believe it's actually the 1099 NEC. But it's a form of a 1099 that basically says this person owes me a debt. And what the IRS then does is treats that debt as income for that person, and therefore they have to pay taxes on it. If you've ever owed a credit card company and that credit card company has written off your debt, you may have received something like that, and then in turn you've got to pay income taxes on it, just like you got cash in the bank.
That's right. Absolutely. All right, Mixed Feelings said, how can Miss Redwine be so pretty and smart? Oh, okay. Is that somebody shooting a shot?
Is that my Bumble date?
your Bumble date. I know who that was. All right, Frank M. Moore. Welcome. Frank M. Moore is a new member. Thank you for joining. Frankie M. Moore, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Keep watching. All right. IBDA. How do you say that? Anybody?
I beat a shit. I beat the shit.
I beat the shit. Oh, okay. I beat the shit. All right. I beat the shit. Said, what in the Tom Giraldi is going on? We don't have any idea. Billy Littles, welcome back, Billy. What if it turns out Jennifer bought everything, including the ring? Would she still be held liable if all she is his sugar mama? Good question. Anybody?
Not currently, because they're not currently married. And so if she bought all of the things and he bought none of the things, then she's just a fool.
Oh, all right. There we have it. All right. Tam B. Dan, what's the baby name again? Okay. So, all right. We don't know the baby name. Let's keep going. CC Serenity says, who called the police? Well, as it relates to which one? You're talking about Sky Jackson? If I'm not mistaken, the park did. The park was recognizing in the surveillance video that there was a whole lot of commotion around them. So the park then, enforcement people went to get them, detained them, and called the police. All right, Billy Little says, calling her a celebrity is a bit of a reach, isn't it? No, she's a bona fide celebrity. We are all adults here. Who watched something she's in? I just interviewed her on the red carpet.
I've watched it. I have children. I've watched Jesse and
it's $1 billion corporation. So
right, it's $1 billion brand attached to her. All right. Stephanie M said it's called a 1099C for debt cancellation. All right, I love how the ladies are stepping in and helping each other out. That is what educating is all about. And Yolanda Smith, thank you so much. She says, I really enjoy the Code of Public Opinion. All right, we enjoy having you. All right, last up, we're going to give our verdicts on the people that have landed into the court opinion. This is the part, Jay Carter, where you lean in and tell us if they're guilty or not guilty. All right, first up, is Southwest guilty or not guilty of discriminating against Peppa? Attorney Jay Carter, what say you? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Simone Redwine, guilty, not guilty?
Guilty.
All right, Shaitan Turner, are they guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right, this is Al, and I'm the judge, and I'm going to find Southwest guilty. And I also want any and everyone who knows Pepper, DM her and tell her to look at this show, because I think that disability route is the route that she needs to go to get her what? Ching ching. All right, next up is the WNBA, guilty or not guilty, and also are the Las Vegas Aces guilty or not guilty of discriminating against Hamsby. All right, Attorney Shatan Turner, what say you? Guilty or not guilty?
I think they're guilty, and the oral contract is likely going to be proven by the course of dealing of the parties. It's not required to be in writing, and so I'm going to go with guilty, even though it's a little unclear.
All right, Simone Redwine, guilty or not guilty?
I'm gonna say not guilty.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't
the
want
reason I
that
say
lady
not
to
guilty,
get her money?
honestly, I feel like when it comes to sports, if you get pregnant, you should get fired.
Oh my
Hey,
God!
you only got to play for so long. I do.
Are you serious? That's just like saying that if you are an attorney working at a high-powered law firm and you can't put in the hours, that you should be fired. Do you agree with that as well?
No, it's distinctly different because you have one thing you're supposed, like with an attorney, you're supposed to use your brain. With a sport, you're supposed to use your entire physical body. And you cannot run the court 9 months pregnant and be making goals and giving them their $1 million worth. So I think that is the one industry where it should be okay. I feel like it's the one industry where it should be okay.
Order in my court. Order in my court. We'll give everybody the right to express their opinion. But this is crazy coming from a woman. I'm going to move on. Attorney Jay Carter, is WNBA guilty or not guilty?
Guilty based on courses dealings, as Shadon said, and also your favorite new word, promissory estoppel. I think they're guilty. I hear Simone that contractually, there wasn't a contract, and also physically, what could she do as pregnant? But they didn't say that you can't get pregnant. They just said, hey, we're gonna, give you your tuition, and we're going to give you your housing. They never even informally said this is conditional on you never getting pregnant. So I'm going to still go with guilty. I'm
going to say guilty. And Simone Redwine, you're guilty. You're guilty of being discriminatory. And just like Bernice Johnson said, she was pregnant, and she still made the baskets, and she still made the points, and she didn't miss a game. Shame on you. Guilty for being a bad person in this case, Simone Redwine.
But she did not perform the way an unpregnant person would have. And that's what they were paying for. They were paying for an unpregnant lady to make some gold.
Show me on her contract where it said, right, show me in her contract where it said a non-pregnant woman had to show up for work. Show me in her contract. Right.
Fair enough.
All right, next up, Jordan Childs is the whatever federation of the federation of the federation that Jay Carter called it. Are they guilty? And are the Romanians guilty of hating on our women of color from the United States who waxed their ass in the Olympics? Guilty or not guilty, Jay Carter? What's the way to say you?
Yes, guilty for the Court of Arbitration for Sports and Team Romania.
All right, we are skipping over Simone Redwine for her ridiculousness the last time. So going straight to you, Simone Turner. Guilty or not guilty?
I actually am going to go not guilty here, only because the Olympics tends to be corrupt, right? And so I think
order my court, both of you, order my court. I don't want to hear from either of you. Give that woman her medal.
No, I'm interested to hear. Why do you think not guilty? I want to know. Why are you saying because they're? Go ahead, finish your thought.
I don't think that they discriminated or did something unfair to Jordan Childs because she's Jordan Childs. That's what I'm limiting it to, is what was the basis? Like what's the
whoa! I'm for all things black. I'm for all things brown. Give her medal. I don't want to hear this crap. Next, in the court of public opinion, I'm the judge. They're guilty. The Romanians are guilty. The federation is guilty. Everybody's guilty because they didn't like seeing all those beautiful women of color dominating that gymnastic Olympics, because we are dominating everything. We're dominating track and field. We're dominating tennis. We're dominating everything, and they hate it. They hate it.
So you know what's dominating right now? My bladder.
They were definitely hating on the all-black podium.
Yeah, they're and the basketball teams. Guilty. Olympics, you're guilty. All right, next up and last, not last, Keke Palmer and Darius Jackson. Oh, Lord, what do we say? Attorney Simone Redwine, I'll let you speak here. Guilty or not guilty? Is Kiki guilty or not guilty?
Of what? Bad judgment? Yes, she's guilty.
The restraining order. She dropped the restraining order. Who's guilty here? Who's not guilty? I mean, should they even be in the court? Bad judgment. Shatara Turner, is she guilty of bad judgment or not?
Real life is messy. She wants an intact family. I won't judge anybody who does that, but I wouldn't do it.
All right, Attorney Jay Carter, what say you?
I definitely think she's guilty of bad judgment, but something we didn't mention, Darius, I think, was going to bring them receipts. She tried to bring in videotape, but he was going to bring some receipts that she admitted to hitting him. So I think it was actually a mutual fight. And I just feel like because it was a mutual fight and she did not tell us that really, she really just emphasized on what he did. She's also guilty of not painting the full picture.
Oh, okay. I think I can agree with that. All right, I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge in the court of public opinion. We're going to find Keke Palmer guilty of not sharing all the details and making it look one-sided and making him look like a bad person. But I tell you what, I'm a sucker for Black love, and I'm glad to see the two of them are working it out for the sake of the child. So I will give them all a pardon for that. Last up, Sky Jackson. All right, ladies, this is a tough one. Is she guilty or not guilty of domestic battery? Attorney Shatara Turner, what say you?
She's not guilty. She had a hormone rush that impaired her judgment.
What in the hell is going on?
Speaking of hormones, I got to inject mine in like 5 more minutes. So I'm doing my little egg retrieval in 2 more days. So not guilty.
You guys are killing me. All right, Jay Carter, please have some type of sense here. Is she guilty or not guilty of domestic battery?
Yeah, technically, on a technical, yes, she is guilty of domestic battery. She hit him. It was offensive touching. I'm sure he did not want to be shoved. So, yes, she is.
I'm going to tell you what's guilty. All 3 of you ladies are guilty of being women attorneys and letting your hormones get in the way of your judgment. I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge, and she is guilty. She put her hands on the man, and she shouldn't have. She is guilty of domestic battery, but I'm sure they're going to work it out because, once again, we love her, we support her, and
they're also engaged. It was just too many announcements. And so that was another announcement. Pregnancy, engagement, domestic battery. We had like
all of it in one. All right, everybody. That concludes tonight's show. We hope you enjoyed everything. I got to tell you, I definitely did. Thank you, Attorney Turner, Attorney Carter, and Attorney Redwine for always doing what you do. And that's teaching us the law to make us the people more empowered as we rotate in this thing called life. Everybody have a good night, and court is now closed.